Good morning. We are live, and I have a guest today with me, Peter Quinn, and we're shaking things up. I think, like for Thanksgiving, it's a US Thanksgiving tomorrow. So, thank you, Peter, for spending your day before Thanksgiving with me.
My pleasure,
Peter,
Anya.
yeah, Peter is actually not usually I interview people who work inside large organizations, but today I wanted to introduce you to Peter, and he is has a lifelong interest in real estate, has led to 42 years. He's been working on his craft, understanding how real estate can work towards improving someone's life as a tenant, as a landlord, developer, investor. Held many roles, learned so much that he wants to share today with us. What I love about this conversation is he is a leader in his sector, a leader in his community, a leader in the industry. We met through a business networking group providers. And when Peter and I have conversations, or I'm always watching people in meetings, and I said that to you behind the scenes, you have a really powerful presence. And to me, I think leadership is about that presence. It's about reading the room, it's about reading the space, it's about responding. Every time I'm around you, I feel welcome, I feel safe, I feel intellectually stimulated and interested and curious. And so I selfishly invited you to my show to pick your brain and be like, how do you do that? Have you always been this way?
Fire away, Anya. I'm yours.
Thank you, Peter. So, talk to me about presence. Are you different than you were when you were in your 20s, or have you always had this posture and presence about you that dictates confidence and leadership?
Oh, I think I missed my calling. I think I should have at least attempted some stand-up comedy. Not that I'm funny.
Yeah.
It's just that I think it's really important, particularly in a meeting setting where you have guests, as we do in our provisor meetings and other meetings where that may be a little uncomfortable, maybe a little nervous, is to lighten the mood in the room and make sure that people understand they're included. Sometimes that's uh, a little funny comment about something they may have said or a
Yeah.
story that they shared, but that's how you get people to communicate.
Yeah. And I know we talked about specifically real estate, and I spent a lot of time around building trust, and you and I talked a little bit about integrity and building trust, and real estate is about building relationships. So, what advice do you have for maybe younger leaders? How do you build relationship? What's important about that? I don't know,
It,
introduction.
that's a great question, Anya, and it's so timely because we're in a real estate market today that is unlike any real estate market that somebody who's been in the business for 10 years or less has ever seen.
Mm,
They've never seen a down market.
yeah.
So it's deals are fewer and farther between. And I am spending much of my days uh, reaching out to people that I've done business with over the years. I may not have done business in the last year or
Yeah.
two,
Mhm.
but just to call up and say, "Hey Sam, I've been thinking about you. I read an article about your industry, and I'm going to send it to you. But tell me how things are going. How can I help? Well, where
Yeah.
can I be a resource to you?" And those seeds, uh, when planted, are going to yield opportunities to
Yeah.
be a factor in that person's life.
Yeah, I love being the resource and the conversation around being of service. I teach this trust, and we look at a trust like what's the lens, right? Why do people trust each other? One, you and I talked about integrity. You do what you said you'll do. And another one, the main one actually is care. Do you care about me or do you only care about yourself? And people pick up on it very quickly. Like people are not stupid. That's why I talked about presence. It's energy, it's your energy. You can't fake energy. And yeah, what you were mentioning is like, I care about you. Like relationship is about actually caring and seeing what can we do? How can I support you? Staying on people's radar, right? Am I hearing you?
That is so easy to read when you're chatting with people. If it is too introspective, it comes off sometimes as narcissistic. It's like,
Mhm.
um, enough about you, let's talk about me. And, that's a pathway to failure, because you're never going to gain that person's trust that you're talking to, and they can never feel comfortable in referring you to somebody that you might be a perfect fit to help if
Yeah.
they don't firmly and completely believe that you're going to care about that relationship. And the caring is as simple as, I said that I would call, and I did. Here's the
Yeah.
result, and thank you for trusting me to call your client, your friend, your family.
Yeah. And maybe there is no business and there is no result. But the actual fact that I called, I made the call, it reminds me of like that taking also initiative. I know you and I talked about a little bit about managing people, because even though you're not part of a large organization, I'm sure over your 40-year career in real estate and in development and investments, you've had to manage people. So talk to me a little bit about the autonomy and leading people versus managing people, because I think you have an interesting perspective on it.
Yeah, that's a great, really division of labor, if you will.
Hmm.
Managing people is, in an organization that is layered and structured. It's a requirement of the job.
Yeah.
You're never going to be able to hire an Anya Soto, at the level you would love her to be at when she's 22 years old,
Yeah.
and doesn't have the experience. Now, doesn't mean that 22-year-olds can't lead the pack. They absolutely
Yeah.
can.
Yeah.
But leading folks, you don't have to be the CEO of an enterprise. I work for an organization that attracts and recruits seasoned, experienced, honest, ethical real estate professionals
Hmm.
in brokerage, which is transactional, in property management, in financial and
Hmm.
finance, in valuations. And we depend on people being able to perform at a level that does not require a lot of oversight.
Yeah.
And so in that environment, we're simply leading by example. If you're
Yeah.
doing what you know you need to do to be successful,
Yeah.
that is going to uh, permeate the organization
Yeah.
and encourage people to show up and do the job.
Yeah. And I think what that requires, right, from my work that I see, we talked a little bit about that, building trust and relationship. I think especially with younger people, I think that in order for me to show up and take ownership and responsibility, I need to feel safe that mistakes are okay. I need to feel safe that if I do something that is not up to your standard, that you will not be upset with me. You will not judge me. You'll not fire me. You will, give me maybe feedback and help me move forward. So it's like I feel with a lot of, especially younger talent, right? And this is the first time, just like in real estate, where we have 3 or 4 different generations working at the same time.
Right.
That has never happened before. We still have people like in their 70s and 80s who are full of life. We have boomers, we have millennials, we have Gen X, we have Gen Z, we have I don't know, I think it's Y or Alpha are entering the workforce. Like this is massive. And this is what I believe it's, yes, it having clear expectations, but I think also building that relationship that I trust you will do good work, go for it. And if you fail, I'm going to give you feedback and we're going to work on it.
We chatted a little bit about in the run up to the
Yeah.
this show, about mentorship,
Yeah.
and there is never been a point in my entire business life,
Yeah.
for sure, where I have not sought counsel from someone who I believe could add value to what I try to do each and every day.
Mm,
And I think seeking a mentor uh, as early in your career as is possible, no matter where you are or what you're doing or what your long term goals and objectives are, is critical because you can't possibly, you can't read about what the right thing to do in this situation. You have to experience it. And I encourage uh, the young people that I'm working with, this is where you make a mistake. Don't make that mistake in a vacuum. If you think there's a mistake, let's talk about it and
Yeah.
figure out how we can correct that situation, learn from that mistake, communicate back to the client clearly,
Mhm.
and continue to win that business. I think that mentors are critical to the growth and productivity and long-term success of any individual.
Yeah.
And it's so funny, Anya. I had a meeting yesterday with an old friend of mine, a really successful residential real estate guy. He has uh, uh, referred a number of clients to me. I've referred a number of clients to him over the years. And we're having coffee at a little place down at PB yesterday morning. And he started talking about his mentor and the fact that this man who he has had a relationship with, I think for over 20 years, came back into his life in the last month with an opportunity that is so staggeringly fantastic. Such an amazing recognition of the skills that developed over the years that
Mhm.
this man knows that now take advantage of
Wow.
this opportunity. And it just, if he had not invested that time over these past 2 decades,
Mhm.
that sort of an opportunity would have never presented itself.
Wow.
It's,
It's like going back again to that trust element, right? Building relationships that takes time. I've never thought of it this way, but it is true. Like when you have a mentor where you are willing to be vulnerable, ask questions, learn, be curious, admit when you don't know something or you don't have the strength in it, it really allows to build that deep authentic relationship that in the future can lead to great opportunities that would have never existed because now I trust you, I know who you are.
yeah, I think the best relationships in family and business over the years have always been with people who are so unfailingly curious. They are
Mm,
always asking questions. Why are you doing this? What's
yeah.
going on in this sector of the world? What do you know about this? And that man that I mentioned, who's a mentor 5 years ago, would not probably, maybe he would have, but he
Yeah.
may not have been able to present this kind of an opportunity.
Yeah.
Uh, and so getting yourself in a position where your kimono is open and your mentor, can have confidence and feel secure enough to say, don't go that direction
Yeah.
right now. Let's work on this.
Yeah,
Uh,
because they can see your blind spots and then they can grow you instead of you taking like wasting so much time pretending and faking and not admitting. There's no faster way to lose trust, right? By trying to pretend and hide mistakes. I also read this article that said when it comes to trust and relationships, that it's actually people who ask for help are the most trustworthy. So on your team, it's not the one that has the most knowledge. It's not the one that is most intelligent. It's not the one that is mostly skilled. You will actually delegate the most important client or project to someone that you know will ask questions if they get stuck.
that is so completely true, and because you can have very competent
Yeah.
people, and I've been in this position myself in my life, where someone asked me to do something I did not have the skill sets to actually execute on that,
Yeah.
but I knew that it had to get done,
Yeah.
and I had to reach out to within my team to find those individuals who I knew could get this done.
Yeah.
And honestly, I wasn't leading them in that effort. I simply communicating that this is what I'm being asked by the board of directors to do.
Yeah.
So let's as a team get this done, but I'm really leaning on your skill sets, guys,
Yeah.
to make
Oh,
this happen.
that's so powerful, right? For the team, it's and again, it's role modeling that it's okay to ask for help because people are always looking up to leaders. What's allowed, what's okay, and what's not okay. And if the leader himself can say, "I don't have the skill set. I'm gonna lean on you. Let's work on it as a team." Everybody's like, "Oh, I didn't know you can do that. I'm gonna do that next time. I didn't know it was even an option on the menu." But I definitely love where we're going with this, and a couple of complaints that I'm hearing from leaders and managers is that younger generation are not taking initiative. They're not asking for things to do. They're not asking for mentors. They're not asking. So when I heard you say, seek out mentors, seek out help, seek out people that can help you, there's that initiation process that I like to say, ask for what you need. I say to my kids all the time at home, ask for what you need. Because if I don't know what you need, do you need tutoring? Do you need this? Do you need me to spend more time with you? Ask for what you need. Like, take charge of your life.
That's exactly right. It's like in the real estate or in any part of life, when you need a loan, you can't get a loan.
Yeah.
So you need to apply for a loan when you don't need a loan. When you need help, uh, it may be hard to find that help if
Yeah.
you have not practiced that skill. Is to identify people who you know can be of value to you.
Yeah.
Uh, you know, Seek out the smartest person in the room. Don't be the smartest person in the room.
Yep. Leave
And
the room. Leave the room if you're the smartest. You're in the wrong room.
that you're in the wrong room. That's exactly right.
So when you
And
work, oh yeah, sorry, go ahead.
I'm sorry. No, go ahead.
No, finish.
So I was just going to say that we were again in leading up to this, we were talking about some of the things that when you're in that room, you should try to do. And I'm a firm believer in uh, talking less and listening more. And I learn way more when I'm not talking than I do when I am. And and I think that you do have to have people who are contributing to the conversation. And I think you and I are maybe not uniquely gifted in finding those people in our lives
Yeah.
that have helped us.
Yeah.
But I really do believe that everybody does have something to offer, and sometimes we need to pull it out of them.
Yeah.
But just listen, you'll find the answer.
I think we've been switching from like calling people out to actually calling people forth,
Right.
right? It's like creating that safe space for everyone to contribute and say, like, your opinion matters. Like, I want to hear a perspective. Let me see. When you talked about curiosity, I feel like that's one of the coaching skills. The most important coaching skill is asking questions and creating a safe environment for people to share more of themselves. Because it's like we know they have all the answers. So we have about a couple of minutes left, and I know again behind the scenes, I need to have like another camera that will be recording all the conversations because I feel like the best conversations with my guests happen before we go live, where we're just chatting and connecting. So you shared with me one of the things you ask your mentees to do. So maybe you have that advice. I'm gonna let you share that, and maybe any other advice you have for younger generation who are looking for those mentors, who are looking to learn. Like, what can they do to
Uh,
excel?
I graduated from San Diego State University. Uh, Took a 4-month bicycle trip through Europe. After, I mean, literally the day after I graduated, came back to what I believed was going to be a job with IBM here in San Diego.
Mhm.
And I found out that there was a hiring freeze and there were going to be no hiring in San Diego for the foreseeable future.
Mm,
Uh, so when I heard that from the local branch manager, I was I was not depressed, but I was going, well, now what am I going to do? And he said,
yeah.
well, go to Orange County. And when you go to the meeting, I know the two branch managers I'm going to introduce you to. Take a notebook and
Mm,
write down questions you have before you go into those meetings, and then take notes while you're in the meeting. Because what it does is it confirms that A, you're prepared, and B, you're interested in what this person is saying.
yeah.
And, people at the end of the day, they really do love to talk about themselves. And
Yep.
you have to let folks do that, and
Yeah.
then make them appreciate the fact that you are recording things
Yeah.
that you think are important, that what they're saying. And I have never gone into a meeting in the last 40 plus years without a notebook. Uh,
Mm,
and it beats a recording device because
yep.
it translates into something that is more developed and permanent in your brain when
Yeah.
you're executing that and putting it on paper. So that's my hot tip for the
So
day.
funny. I always take notes and I have notes everywhere, but I believe that's how my brain works. I'm a visual learner. I need to see and I need to take notes. And I think it's so underestimated. And I love what you said. There's also a physical representation of what you say matters. And I want to spend time with you. Because if I spent an hour of my day, like we talked with you, and you didn't take even one single note, like what does that say to me, right? So.
Right. That's exactly right.
Thank you so much. Thank you for sharing your life lessons, your leadership lessons. Thank you for spending Wednesday before the Thanksgiving with me, and it was wonderful to chat with you. And I never knew you went on that bike trip. You graduated, so it's always learning something new and trusting that if you listen and give space, people are interesting. People
They're
are
going to
very,
add value to your life.
yeah, yeah.
Anya, you're one of my favorite people. I'm so happy that you invited me to be on your show, and I wish you the best of luck and happy Thanksgiving.
Thank you. Happy Thanksgiving and thank you so much. Thank you, Peter.
Take care.